I am with Lani Gerity, G-A-A-T-R. Lani is a puppet maker, author, world traveler, and a trained art therapist with a master's degree and doctorate from New York University. She studied with Edith Kramer and edited Edith's last book, Art as Therapy and Creativity and the Dissociative Patient, as well as articles and chapters in other books. She maintains a website, blogs, and online groups filled with encouragement in alternative arts for artists, art therapists, and art educators. So I'm so excited to have Lani here to kind of speak with. I am very, very excited to have this chat with you. There has been so many things online that you have done in relationship to art and creativity and encouragement, like your bio says. And I know that it's been very nurturing and inspiring for work that I have done as well. So thank you so much and welcome.
Well, thank you.
The first question I've been asking everyone that I've been speaking to is if they remember, generally kind of speaking, the first time that you used the internet, and maybe in relationship to art and creativity.
Yes,
I
can
yes.
definitely answer that question. So, let's see. So my first encounter with the internet, and just like the excitement of what was possible, happened in Hamilton, Ontario. I had moved up to Canada, and so I was I didn't have access to the NYU library anymore, and whatever. And I was wanting to do some research on art making. This is from personal experience, right?
Yes.
Art making and like positive feelings. Generosity was in there. So I was finding little search words and plugging them into Google, and with the idea of, see what Google could find for me on this kind of intersection or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that, and it was like so exciting. It was like, wow, holy moly, this is great. Because up until that point, for research, I would go to the NYU library, and you would hand them little cards with search questions or whatever, and that was how you would do your research, And I was like, wow, so I can do this myself.
Yes.
In the middle of wherever. Yeah, okay. So anyway, I discovered, yes, there's a whole lot of intersection between creativity, generosity, positive feelings, and it was I was finding a lot of material on positive psychology. So that was sort of what kind of triggered that whole exploration of a happy artist and how to create a happy artist life and that kind of thing.
Okay, so it was sort of like the foundation and beginnings.
Yeah, it was Google.
How would you describe the concept of the virtual art studio? That's kind of the first part of the question. And the second part is that what has influenced your views and ideas about using this type of digital space for art making?
Okay, well, part of my history, of course, was that I was in New York for a very long time, and I worked in a day treatment center for just about 12 years. And so I had an art room and a pottery room, and I just spent my working hours basically in kind of art therapy heaven, really. I mean, it was the best job ever. And it was those, I had 2 art studios, and people would obviously benefit by being so having so much art in their life. I mean, it was so clear. Mm-hmm. And of course, at the time I was studying with Edith Kramer and NYU, and working on a master's and then working on the doctorate. And so like everything kind of fit together. And then, then I finished the doctorate and left New York. And so then it's like, oh, well, I kind of miss having that much art in my life, you know? Mm-hmm. And I miss the having this kind of space where people could come and feel somewhat safe and creative and whatever. So then it was like trying to figure out a way to recreate that virtually. And so then that was I think I did I covered Petria's e-group. Petria had an e-group. And so I covered that for a while. I forget what the reason, maybe it was maternity leave or something. And so I saw that, it was possible to have like a sense of a group in this virtual world. And so then one thing led to another, and I started the 14 Secrets for a Happy Artist Life Yahoo group, right? And that went for quite a long time, quite a few years. And it was fantastic. The mail, we set it up so that you could, I had a bunch of monitors or a bunch of assistants that would help, and we set it up so that we could do round robins and various mail art projects, and it was just, it was so much fun. It was just totally fun. And sometimes people would put on an art therapy hat, and I would say, no, we gotta, this is our place to play. Although most of us are art therapists, we don't have to be analyzing or whatever. We can just play and be creative. And so then I helped Edith edit her papers and create the book. The last book that she came out with was a book of papers. So I started thinking, wow, I think she's really influenced me a lot more than I realized, because she always told us, you really got to be an artist first. You need to really be deeply rooted in this love of art. And in New York, there's like so much going on all the time, and I had to work 3 jobs just to cover my rent, and it was like, I don't think I really have time to even think about what my identity is. I'm just like working, but then once I got a little more space and head space, space wherever, things started to fall into place, and I started to realize, wow, yeah, she knows a lot, and I got to pay attention. So then I started making trips down to New York and interviewing her and talking to her, and just really seeing how you could be in your mid 80s, late 80s, pushing 90, and do art every day. And it seemed like so important. And it was we all know this. I mean, we help our patients connect with themselves and with their inner life and all that. But it wasn't just for patients. It's like it's for all of us. It's for everybody. It's not just, everybody can benefit by knowing what's on our minds, So that I would say Edith was a huge influence, even though I might not have known it at the time. And one thing was that she was extremely egalitarian, very, very, very an environment needed to be egalitarian always, and you needed to be able to talk and interact with people and not stand on ceremony and not have a whole lot of hierarchy and stuff like that. And I think that's part of the virtual art studio, was that it really, if you had the computer to access the group, it was open to anybody, and it was very egalitarian. So I think I think that Edith was probably my biggest influence. And I could still hear, I've internalized this wise elder little grandmotherly lady with the braid down her back. And I think it's important to do art every day. Yes, I agree, Edith. So I'll be up at 5 o'clock in the morning doing my morning pages.
Yes. Would you use to share online as well on social media and sort of?
Yeah, I never know where things are going at the time. So, for a long time, I was very moderating this group 14 Secrets, and then we kind of moved it off of Yahoo, and we tried now it's sort of on Facebook, but it's not a lot of activity, or there's no pressure. And we've done a few exchanges, but I still want to keep an open mind as to what's happening next, or what doors will open. You never know. And so currently what I'm doing, and I guess that's what I'm trying to preface it this way, that this is what I'm doing now, and who knows what I'll be doing later. I don't know. But anyway, so right now, yes, I do art every day. I've combined it with little meditative early morning time, little yoga, little sometimes I'll listen to some Dharma teacher talking about meditation or different things, and then I'll be working on my art, and there'll be a little Jack Cornfield off in the distance talking on my computer. That's kind of nice. And then in order to keep myself committed, I guess, I kind of said, okay, I need to do this every day, and I need to post it every day. And so then you're doing it for others. You're not just doing it for yourself, and so then you think, well, I wonder what, obviously I need to do art. When I do my art, yes, I'm really doing it for myself, but it's communication. So there's some awareness that, I'll be posting this. So maybe I don't need to have my political ideas in my artwork. Maybe my artwork can just be my artwork. And whatever. So anyway, I post it on Facebook every day. I post it on my blog every day. And LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's where
I was looking at LinkedIn and I was feeling like, gosh, LinkedIn, it gets a little heavy on the advertising, and monetizing and whatever. And so I'm kind of, I think that can kind of, if you worry too much about monetizing and about money and getting things from people, if you think a whole lot about getting things, it kind of destroys the creative process for me. I don't know about anyone else, but for me, I get most creative if it's an act of generosity, or if there's some kind of generosity involved. It's very helpful. So anyway, I was looking at LinkedIn and thinking, wow, this is really, I don't know. I think that there needs to be more art here.
Mm-hmm.
So I made it my personal mission to add a little art on LinkedIn every day.
Yeah, I do. I see it when I pop over there. I'll say, I mean, Facebook for sure. It's one of the first things I see in the morning, and it's really interesting because no matter if it's like when I wake up, like today, I think I saw it when I woke up, and it's usually like not that long after you share it, it's like, oh yeah, like that. And then, or if I'm at work, already sort of at work before I've started my day, I'll see it then. So it's probably the way I begin my day, like as far as what I see like on social media, which is awesome, such like good vibes and a great, energy to kind of start. And then LinkedIn, maybe like towards the end of the day, I may be over there and I'll see it's kind of like bookends, like at the sort of, so yeah. And then I think some stuff gets posted on Twitter as well, like when you share.
Twitter is like an automatic thing.
Yeah, like it just like is.
I'm afraid I don't use my Twitter account that much, but I know something I post somewhere and it automatically goes to Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. And I like what you speak about related to that sense of creative practice for yourself, but then it also being something that others can participate in through being viewers. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how it can, I believe, like touch people and inspire people and sort of live, through that too.
That was also something Edith would talk about, that for her, like her art was completely different. She was into going on the subway and painting people on the subway, or doing industrial paintings, or beautiful landscapes and detailed, whatever. She really liked to paint. She was a painter. And she was also a sculptor, but she never pursued it that much because she was just a little lady. And she said, sculpture, you really need to be able to move stones around and whatever. And it just seemed like too difficult that she could handle physically. She could handle the canvases and all that, but so she put a lot more effort into the painting, even though she might have been at least as competent, if not more so, in working 3D. But she always said that she loved her to create art that anybody would understand, and that in creating in the subway, or even doing artwork about the subway, people could look at it and say, oh, and yeah, and then they would tell her, thank you. I now I'm actually looking at the lighting in here more, and I'm actually seeing my environment more than I used to. And so for her, it was important that art should be communication, not just with the self, but with others as well.
Yeah, that's great. I love like that context so much and how it relates to, I don't know, like the here and now, and sort of that the digital kind of the way that it could be used.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I don't. We don't need to be too compartmentalizing. I don't think.
Yeah.
We can be flexible.
Yeah.
Because we're artists.
Yes, exactly. So important. Yeah. Do you have a favorite project that you've either organized or participated in online?
Those round robin books, to me, those were just the best.
Yeah.
And you have an example.
Yes, which because it's a video, people won't be able to see it, but I will take like photos, and I think I have photos anyway. Yes, yeah. I loved, this was part of a 14 Secrets round robin where everybody took a board book, like just the children's board book, which I learned sort of from you in one of your workshops like many years ago, and using the board book to kind of alter and collage and do whatever. It's like really sturdy material, to kind of do lots of stuff with. And then I think I have maybe 6 other people that have worked on that. We mailed it to each other. Like our original book that we started was blank inside, or maybe we did the first page, because I'm seeing that I did the first page of mine, and then we mailed it to someone else.
Yeah.
And they mailed it to someone else. Yeah. And it went through maybe 6 people, and then it came back to its original owner. So each of us, all 6 of us, were working on 6 different books, if that's right. Yeah.
So that was always so much fun, because you were dealing, in that case, 6. So like once a month, you might get a new book to work on, and it would pull out your creative juices or whatever. And, you'd look at something, and then suddenly you get an aha, and you work on it. And so that was always so much fun. And then, the fact that you knew that this was going to a particular person was that also is really sweet. And so art is a gift. I love that idea. And everything about it. There was one group I was a part of, and one of the artists said whenever she was feeling kind of low or whatever, like sometimes life can be hard, and you can get kind of dragged down. So whenever she felt that way, and it just, what she would do is start working on an envelope for somebody. She was going to send something to somebody. And so she would art up an envelope, and pretty soon she was totally into it. And here's a gift. And so here's a little act of generosity. And somehow that, like, it would fire off really good brain chemicals and hormones and stuff, and she would get out of her slump. It was really nice. So I've seen that over and over and over again, and that's a really great thing. I can't wait to see the next incarnation of all this,
how things
happen next.
evolve. Different platforms, and I think technology and creativity, and the possibilities that exist, which I think are I don't know, beyond our, I don't know, thinking sort of right now. I don't know, will be amazing. When I talked and chatted with Teresa Zip, saying to her how I love how the digital kind of aspect of connecting with people online through, whether it's communities or groups or art, and then getting something from them that they've made with their hands in the mail, and how it really bridges
it really does
both worlds kind of together. I just really think that is really cool.
Francine Levesque asked me why did the 14 Secrets group flourish so much, and I'm sure it's because we were making art for each other. I'm sure that's exactly because Francine ran a couple of online groups, and they were good, and there's a lot of discussion and things, but it's not the same as when you actually hold something in your hand.
Well, I very much like 14 Secrets and your blogging. I mean, you started blogging like many, many years ago there on your website, and creating like e-zines for people to either download or really short, inexpensive kind of workshop format for people to use at their own time, at their own pace, which is another.
Well, there's a lot of that in the I don't know what you would call it, like modern self-taught art, modern self-taught artists, kind of overlapping with scrapbooking people, and so there are a lot of zinesters out there, and there's a lot of interesting art that's happening, or was happening anyway. So I think I was learning a tremendous amount about art from this sort. I don't know what the genre is exactly, but like nervousness.org, and there's was it Thousand Journal Project by some guy is his name. And so that was a round robin kind of project. And this guy started with 1,000 journals, and he would send them out into the world, and they would be handed from person to person to person. And it was just a fabulous idea. And it was, he's got a book, so you can actually see the book, but before it was a book, there was an online presence, and it was really interesting. And then of course there's Tisha Moore and Tracy Moore, and they would have Art Fest every year, and Journal Fest, and Play Fest, Play Weekends or whatever out in Seattle, and they would do zines. They had all kinds of zines and rubber stamping, and so like I was very much influenced by whatever part of the art world that is. It's not it's sort of for the people. It's an egalitarian kind of art world, and very cool, very nice.
Nervousness was one of the first.
That was wonderful.
That I stumbled upon, and I searched, looking for it again in my research, of like sites, and could not find it anywhere.
It's not even, you can't find it cached or
archives or but
I mean the ideas, the creativity that must be squirreled away in the NSA vault somewhere. Is like, oh man.
There was a lot of really cool, because you could do swaps and exchanges, and you could barter with people.
I would get up first thing in the morning, go right for nervousness.org, and type in and see what was, and my level, I was, whatever level I was at was pathetic, low level. So I was like, oh man, if only I could get a few more like good feedbacks, and then I could get to the next level, and I could get into one of these really great swaps because they look so interesting.
Yeah, it's like a big like bulletin board, like message board, and divided into like different kind of sections.
Yeah,
I remembered. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was one of the first places that I remember. So if people wanted to connect with you or your groups, like where can they find you online?
You could,
and I'll link things as well.
Okay, well, I think you could check Blogger. I think if you just type in Lani Gerity or Lani Puppet Maker, I think you're going to find Lani Gerity Glanville is my full name, my full official name. So you would find me on Facebook and on LinkedIn and Twitter and Blogger. So I have three different blog addresses. So one is the 14 Secrets, and the one is just Lani Puppet Maker, and then the other one is the Secret Annex. So the Secret Annex has a list of some of my zines and current workshops or upcoming workshops, and so basically I think I'm pretty easy to find. If you just Google, you just use the Google and
find it.
And I'm sitting here in Nova Scotia, not fairly underemployed, would you call it?
Self-imposed.
As an artist, writer, author, person, it's definitely not 9 to 5. So I'm pretty responsive. If people email me, I try to answer pretty quickly.
Great. And you're on Pinterest as well, right?
Oh yeah, I love Pinterest. I kind of fell away from it a little bit, but I just went back again recently.
Yeah, I was on there last night and I saw some pins from you, and I was like, I wonder if these are old ones that Pinterest is showing me, or these like current ones.
But there again, it's like there's a lot of advertising I've noticed that gets slipped in, and it kind of wrecks the experience. Because I was finding that with Pinterest, there's research done on when we look at artwork that we think is beautiful, that it's really good for brain chemicals and brain hormones and stuff. And I could feel it. I'd get on Pinterest and I'd look at all these beautiful images and objects and textures and colors, and just, I can start drooling if I'm not careful. And I could feel it. It was like, wow, there's good hits of endorphins and stuff. It's great. And then suddenly there's like an advertisement there, and like, what's that? That doesn't belong there. And you can feel your brain is like, yuck, and so it kind of like the purity of the experience is a little, it's not what it was. Things change.
Yes, which can happen, with different social media platforms, as far as the monetizing that you were speaking, of before, and it can really muddy up the site and the experience
Yeah, you can feel it. It's not just, really, you can feel the brain chemistry changes when depending what you're looking at, It's really true.
Well, I was very happy to see I think I repinned one of your textures that you that
Okay.
you shared. Yes, so it really helped the sort of connections and pathways on sort of my end. So
Good. Okay. Well,
yeah,
I'll do
yeah.
some
Although
more.
I would say, it can be hard to manage, all the different sort of places and sites and where to go, and that spins the topic of some of the conversations in this series is, some people dedicating their time to
Yeah.
certain sites that they're really committed to or drawn to more. So it can be
Instagram. I used
hard.
to do a lot with Instagram,
Mhm.
but then like you almost you need to have an open Instagram account or something,
Mhm.
and then it was like, oh, that's too much. I don't
Mhm.
like too much information, too much whatever. I don't know. So then I made it really closed, and people have to ask, and then I find there's nothing happening. So it's like, oh, a happy medium would be good, like
Mhm.
filtered open or something. I don't
Mhm.
know. That I would like that.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows what will evolve,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
other places. So yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat and offering your experiences and influences. And it's definitely had a huge impact online. And I definitely recommend for people who are not sort of connected to all this really great creative goodness sort of stuff to get sort of connected to Lani's work.
Great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so you're welcome.